All right, everybody, what's going on? You are here with us. Who are we? I mean, you should know us by now. Cultivation Corner, right? With
Oh,
Janae
it's
Simone.
Cultivation
It's Cultivation Corner, you
Corner.
guys, and we're here again. Another episode brought to you guys with Janae Simone and Richie from Growfos, and we're here to talk to you today about a topic that I think has been really picking up steam across the
Oh, yeah.
and
For
the
sure.
influencer sphere and everything like that, and it is plant trends. All right, like so many different plant trends that are going on these days, and you want to latch on to and see if it works sometimes, and see if it's just a trend and if it will fade. So we're gonna kick it off to you all and get your ideas on like what's trendy, what have you done, maybe what's failed, and what you think.
I guess we could start off with the obvious in regards to rare and variegated plants.
Yeah.
That's like a
Ooh.
consistent trend, a consistent hype. Like, oh, I need that variegated plant, or I need that super exclusive rare plant, which is fine. I mean, I have some, but I have a personal price budget for mine. But what do y'all feel about that?
Well, the variegated plants, I mean, that's always been a trend, right? You get a little speckle of white, a speckle of yellow, and that plant goes from the green version to another $100
Yeah.
version. You know, it's one of those things where I think just variegation, it's beautiful. I for one, will not, deny the fact that if I see a variegated philodendron versus a green, my eye is going to go to the variegated philodendron, for instance. But when you think about the price point, we have that wants and need situation where it's a need today
Today.
or a want. Most variegated plants are always going to be a want because of the price point. And that leads me to ask like either Steve or you, Janae, about do you think the trends of plants also, influences the plant pricing? And what does that look like?
For sure, especially when more people start going out for it. Like I was just mentioning before we started filming, in regards to like the big box plants groups on Facebook, which I am a part of, and people will say, "Oh, this variegated plant is here," blah blah blah, and then all the people go get it, just like instances like those. And I do believe then that makes the price go up because they know it's in high demand.
Oh yeah, and guess whose pockets are flat enough not to afford that right now? Here's the thing with variegated plants. I love variegated pothos plants
Yeah.
because you can get pothos at a great price.
Yes.
Okay, they're beautiful plants. If you grow them up woods or whatever, they can kind of give you monstera vibes with the size of the leaves and everything
Yes.
like that. And for me, like I'm up here trying to grow up a which one? It's a marble queen.
Yeah.
And so it's getting
Beautiful
big,
variation.
right? The leaves are getting big, and that's going to be my kind of like budget monstera elbow.
Yeah, I was just gonna
Yes, 'cause
mention that that is a hack.
illustrates beautifully.
It's a hack.
That's a
Yeah.
hack. Like,
Mhm.
like Sydney plant guy,
Yeah.
right? He has beautiful
You're
epipremnum
awesome.
aureums or pothos, right?
Yeah.
Where they're literally growing on poles
Yep.
and they look
Mhm.
kind of like a monstera
Yeah.
elbow and all of that. You mentioned monsteras, like those variegated versions. There's a lot of them. We have obviously the elbow, the aurea.
Mhm.
Now we have the mint. Have y'all heard of the white devil?
I saw it at PlantCon last year.
The white,
Yeah.
no, not the white devil.
No.
I saw a
You saw
monster.
something.
Oh,
White
okay.
monster,
White
the
monster.
Kumzo,
Okay, yeah.
the Kumzo.
Yeah.
But I think there was like a white devil.
Oh, wow.
It's a new one, and they showed it, and it was like 40K or something
Forty
like that.
thousand. That's
crazy.
That's a Honda Accord.
No,
Can you buy me
exactly.
that?
Like a 2000.
Can you buy me that?
Honda
Either
Accord.
something that's going to drive you, or you're going to have something that's just going to sit there
See?
and grow. Which one?
I need to go places.
Okay.
Cultivators,
We need to go places.
we're asking you. Leave in the comment section below. Would you get a Honda Accord or a Monstera White Devil? Leave that in the comment section for real.
I mean, if you got it, you got it. But for me,
Of course. But here's the thing, it's funny because even, like, my family, they're just now getting into plants because of the plant channel that we do and
Oh, I
all
love
that
uh-oh,
stuff.
Cultivation Corner takeover.
Cultivation Corner takeover. We're influencing others to get into plants, right? But this is the thing. I got so many comments from them talking about I did not know that plant cost so much money.
Oh
Right?
yeah.
And it's not even the $40,000 price tag of that Monstera.
I think so. It could be more. I
But
don't
wait,
know.
it could be less. It's a $200 price tag to, maybe even a smaller cut-in or something of something, right?
Yeah.
And $200 for some is just a lot of money to, potentially lose because you don't know how to take care of it.
That's
So
true.
even with plant trends, it's like, okay, well, do you even have the
environment.
to take care of something like this, because you're about to drop a couple of bones and stacks on these
That
plants,
makes me scary.
and you might.
Don't be scared.
So have either of you followed a plant trend where a plant was super expensive,
Yes.
like the Thai or
yes.
the variegated alocasias?
I would say 5 years ago, when I started to really collect indoor tropical plants. I've always collected plants and grown plants. My grandmother, grew plants with me as a kid, but I remember buying my house out in North Dallas, just way, way up north, right? And I was on eBay and I saw some variegated stuff. Variegated like Monstera albos, and then I was like, well, the Monstera Thai grows a little bit faster. So I ended up bidding for a one leaf, one node Monstera Thai Constellation cutting, and ended up spending $200. Well, if you watch my videos, my big box or plant shopping videos at Grow Folds, you will know that Walmart, Lowe's, there are just Monstera Thai Constellations now that you can find for under $30. So, fast forward to 5 years, and it really has to do with the hype.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's the hype.
It
The
is.
hype. And yes, I followed trends because it was like a plant that, you get on your feed or you hear about it and you feel like you need it. And then
It's
the
honestly
plant,
gorgeous, though.
it is gorgeous. But the thing about it is it becomes more beautiful in our eyes because it's sought after.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
No, it's true.
So if you've ever heard of the Monstera seriana, it's a green form of a Monstera deliciosa, right?
Yes, I know that one.
But it has just a different fenestration
Yeah,
or look.
it's beautiful.
I honestly
It is.
want it, right?
Me
Y'all
too.
should buy
I want
one.
it. Super sticker, please drop a super sticker on the YouTube channel. You can drop a super sticker, but no, real talk.
Yeah.
They're both green versions of like a Monstera, but one is a little bit more sought after because it's a little bit more rare
Yeah.
and it's more expensive. So I want to keep talking about the fact that does a plant become more trendy because it's expensive?
I would agree. I think, listen, to go on the hype, I was on the Thai Constellation train at one point, and because everybody was showcasing it on their social media, and it was a very pretty plant. Like, don't get me wrong, it's gorgeous. I mean,
It's
my
root
God.
rot prone though.
It is. It comes with a lot of issues, but if it's
inside.
if you really take care of it, I mean, come on, Janae, you know what a beautiful Tycon looks like.
I know she just got one from a viewer.
Thank you, Deborah.
Okay, this plant here is gorgeous, you guys. We got to do B-roll of that plant.
Yes.
Okay?
And then look
Seriously.
right here.
And then a painted lady.
Painted lady.
And this is a plant that used to be stupid expensive.
Yes.
too.
Another one.
And
Yes.
you can, I don't know how much they are
Costa
now.
Farms, trending tropicals, $19.84.
$19
And then 84 cents in a 6-inch planter, self-watering planter. So
See?
that
See,
kind
that's
of
the thing.
stuff.
So
Yeah.
let me ask you this question then, okay? Because if the price does influence the sort of the popularity of the plant, when the price comes down, is the plant still trendy?
No.
Because the deal
I don't
is,
think it is.
Well, here's the thing.
I don't
right?
think it is because
when you think of the dot block that just got released to Home Depot, does it have the same allure now that it used to when you couldn't get it at a big box store?
Yeah.
I think it does to a certain extent. So I think it's a beautiful plant. The thing about it is whenever you're getting these trending plants, and we're going to get all like technical, but it's not the original plant. And when I say it's not the original plant, it's tissue cultured. So it's easier to multiply the plants, which makes the plant pricing go down. That's just economics right there. You know, if you have a big supply,
Yeah.
you're able to get the cost down. But like even the dock block anthurium Michelle, yes, I'm going to roll the algorithm a little bit, big box store plant shopping at Home Depot. But that's the thing, right? I was actually I was actually doing it just for the hype. Like I was going through big box stores like Home Depot and really looking for the dock block. Michelle, just because even some of my viewers, the grow folds, hey grow folds, plant foldy folks, they wanted to see it. They'd never seen a dock block Michelle, but then as soon as I'm, making multiple episodes, people were like, "Oh, what's a dock block Michelle?" Anthurium, and anthuriums are a trend. Like we can talk about that in a minute. Like the velvety texture, not the blooming ones. We'll get on that too. But it's really how you hype up a plant. And I have a blind item later on in the episode.
You love your blind items.
Look, I'm not messy like that. Y'all are just I think the viewers like the blind item feature this season. Wait for the season finale, y'all. It's not messy. It's just you know how it's like the white elephant in the room that we're all thinking, but we don't want to say it. We're gonna say it on Cultivation Corner.
Oh,
He's
wow.
gonna say it for
We getting
us.
there.
Yes.
We going there.
Maybe it's nothing bad. Y'all get nervous because we didn't even look at that on the script right here. So
You took the script and were like,
it's off script a little bit. It's nothing bad. It's nothing bad, but you have to wait till the very end to really hear about the blind item.
Okay, stay tuned for that.
right.
Okay.
So we talked about rare and variegated plants. Let's talk about, I guess, like how you display your plants or how you put them in. So in regards to, let's just say plants or pots that have no drainage holes, is that purely for aesthetic reasons? Or is that like a death trap for your plant?
So I have, and I'll refer back to one of our previous episodes where we talk about plant influencers, content creators like Benji Plants.
Love him.
Yeah, I love him. Just unfortunate what happened with his home, and so I think he does have a GoFundMe or something to help support it. So if you guys can, definitely check it out.
The
definitely,
LA wildfires.
those wildfires in LA were just crazy. But
That's insane.
when I was watching his videos, he did specifically say that drainage. He doesn't use drainage holes on some of his plants because some of the aesthetic of the planter is. It doesn't have drainage holes. I mean, you can drill drainage holes. Yeah. He even goes to the point where he doesn't even have like catch pots or saucers for the drainage of the water. So I think it's purely aesthetic, and I think it could be a death trap.
I agree. I have some that are in no drainage pots. I don't know why, but a diamond drill bit, it scares me. So that's one reason I'm like, no. But then, it is purely for aesthetics. So I'm like, oh, well, you're cute there, and I want this pot, so I'm going to put a plant in here. But I would say I lost maybe a couple when I first started it, like years ago, a couple plants with the no drainage to rot. I overwatered it. But now I have like most of them, it's either like a pothos or a snake plant, so like those I tend to underwater to be on the safe side. So
I think we're all underwaterers. Let's just be real here, right?
Okay. Now I am.
I am in the Sahara Desert for me, and that's why you haven't seen a houseplant tour at my channel.
We'll be ready in 2030.
Yes, maybe. If the super stickers drop, maybe I'll be more.
You'll have more time.
Okay, I'll make time. So let me flip my little, mask here.
No, listen, two variegated and rare plants that I bought about a year ago was from HEB. I bought a variegated domesticum and a strawberry shake, right?
$50. I think we were on the phone when I called him, and
right.
drove all the way up to HEB for that
45 minutes to McKinney just to get two plants. Okay, come on,
dedication.
You can't stop me, But the planters that they came in
didn't have any drainage holes.
Did not have any drainage holes, right? And I didn't think too much to look under the plant, to see if they had it or not when I bought it. And it was a death trap for those two plants because the water had nowhere to go. Yeah. The soil was so dense anyway. The soil. It
was very moisture.
I mean, like
it was like that
for weeks.
Yeah.
For weeks.
Yeah.
And so, I'm looking at the plant. I mean, literally, they're getting brown like that. Not that crispy brown, but that sort of mushy brown.
I'd cry.
And I was like, what's going on? And I looked and I said, no drainage holes. This water is not going anywhere. These plants have wet feet.
Jeez.
And so,
Did you have to repropagate it?
So I repotted both of the
Okay.
plants into planters with drainage holes, but the planters were really nice. It was like, oh, this actually comes in a great looking planter. Price is high, but the planter is nice too. I don't know. I just, for me, I like to just err on the side of caution. If I was going to get a gorgeous planter and spend like $300 for a planter, I'm putting some styrofoam at the bottom, and I'm sitting my nursery pot right in.
Okay, so
on
yeah,
top.
so you're going to use this like a catch pot versus
As a
repotting into
exactly.
Yeah.
Like I am a fan of keeping my plant in the nursery pot until
it's acclimated or
until forever.
Yeah, that's true. I've had some plants I didn't remove from the nursery pot till years later. Actually, Vivo. I just moved him out like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So,
but did you move him out into a plant with holes?
Yes, I've actually put drainage holes in that.
So one or the other, know.
So here's the thing, right? So we're talking about planters with no drainage holes. What about trends with just how, like, whatever substrates or what type of planters we're getting? Like, can we touch base on the self-watering or the semi-hydroponics thing?
Oh, like this here.
Like this.
This was a makeshift hydroponic.
Yes.
You did that yourself.
Dollar Tree.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. So Plant Life Lex, she's on YouTube. I love her. I was first introduced to Pawn from her. And I was just very intrigued by it. I remember I wrote her on Instagram. I was like, what is this? It was one of the things where you can ask Google, but I didn't want to. I just wanted to hear from a person.
Yeah.
This was like back in maybe 2022, give or take. So it was a few years ago. And then I didn't try it until, I don't know, over a year later. Anyways, I love it. I have not a lot to say about it. I love it. It's easy. It's almost like set it and forget it because I just go by water level. Oh, water level's low. Like if it's, past the bottom of the pot right here, then I'll go ahead and refill it. It's just very simple and easy. I still have majority of my plants are in soil, but more recently I've been like my newer plants, I'll go ahead and put in semi-hydro. I just think it's a great other way just to have your plants in, especially depending on like Richie said, you like to like droughts. But
droughts by no choice. I mean, it's droughts because I don't necessarily have a choice, and I'll touch base on that in a second too. But
well, it's also good for that too. It's just very low maintenance. I wouldn't necessarily say I followed it because it was a trend. It was just something I was already intrigued with, and I already knew about LECA prior to that. And I was like, oh, it's a more simplified way. And I'm a clumsy person, and I always like knock over plants or something. And picking up leca or rocks is much easier than wet soil on your carpet.
It's the worst.
So
it's the worst. I've dropped 2 plants 2 days ago.
Oh, which ones were they?
They were my syngoniums. I was watering both of them.
Oh, syngoniums got to get watered anyway.
Well, you know what the thing? They're so tall that they're top heavy.
Yep.
And so, like, I said, okay, I'm going to set you guys right here. Literally said, don't fall over, okay?
Don't fall over, and she fell over.
And got some water, and I turned around, heard it, and I was like...
I bet you were irritated.
It wasn't the Godzilla one, was it?
It was the Godzilla.
Oh, Godzilla!
That one's so pretty.
It's pretty.
I need to cut it.
It's so pretty. And to me, that's a trendy plant. But
the Godzilla, yeah.
Yeah, that's a trendy plant. But the one thing about, to your point, LECA looks good. It looks good like in clear pots and everything. It's aesthetically pleasing. I mean, if we're going for looks and trends and stuff like that, I think LECA is just a nice substrate because it looks clean. It looks, nice. And that's why you can't get the choose upon at all. Because
I know.
Definitely a plant trend since recently Pond has become more popular.
It's become more popular because I think, it makes plant care easier, especially for those like alocasias, for instance. Any of those fine root plants, it really just makes it easier. And we're all really busy people. Yeah. And we're all people that want to just get plants all day, every day, right?
Yeah.
The thing about it is when you do start to convert plants to semi-hydro, it just makes the plant care easy.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean that you always have to put stuff in semi-hydro. I just know my my routines, my day-to-day activities, and I just feel like it's made it easy. I mean, I'll refer back to Plant Poppy. Fidel, hey Fidel.
What's up, Fidel?
Love you.
He even mentioned that he wouldn't have been able to grow these plants if they were not in pond. And you know, that's the thing. But like as far as a trend, trends happen because not only do we look at prices, we look at plant prices, the variegation, the look, and even just who's doing what. And that also is fueled by content creators or plant influencers. And I'll use even myself as an example. Not that I'm an influencer, it's just kind of a weird.
You are.
There is a blind item that we're going to get to in a little bit about that. But I've even noticed like my viewers who are also cultivators, the plant foldies, a lot of them are wanting to change things into leca because I've been doing a lot of videos on how to convert soil from soil to semi-hydro.
Just leca?
Just leca. I mean, because it's cheaper. It's a more cheaper alternative.
And it's available.
Lechuza Pond is Lechuza Pond is not there. Otherwise, I would choose the premium substrate for Lechuza Pond. But I've even noticed that I'm getting a lot of direct messages, comments about how they're moving things into leca. My message is if you feel like that's going to make your plant care easy, for me it's not trying to push that trend, but it becomes a trend because you either have a content creator or somebody's talking about it, or better yet the algorithm has wanted to push that.
Damn, we're talking about the algorithm.
It's true though, but it is though. Like but the algorithm does that. I mean, you click on something like self-watering planters, and we can talk about that. Do you think it's a trend because big box stores are getting more plants in self-watering planters, so we're subjected to that, or is that something that is really value added to make your plant care easier?
I would say for sure, especially because Costa Farms.
Yeah, the trending tropicals.
Like because they used to only be in like the
ceramic planters,
the ceramic ones, and now the self-watering. We love Costa Farms.
I love Costa Farms. I am so upset I'm not going to be able to see their nursery bus tour next week at PlantCon in Orlando. Buy your tickets, by the way. To Houston, because I'm sure that when this episode premieres, PlantCon 2025 Orlando has gone. You can watch my content on that, hours and hours. But but
self-watering planters, I don't do good with them, or they don't do good with me. I now only have one plant in it, only because I'm too lazy to remove it because it's growing on my lamp. But other than that, I just can't.
That's not for you?
I do. I have a few. I have a couple of my pothos are in self-watering containers, which is fine. I actually have. Who did I talk about yesterday? I have an anthurium.
In self-watering?
In a self-watering container.
And,
and it's doing really good. It's
the blooming one, right?
The blooming one.
What color is it when it actually has blooms?
Red.
Okay.
It blooms red. It's beautiful. As soon as it starts to bloom, I'm going to do a short or something to show you, because I showcase it on one of my Valentine's Day videos. But it's in self-watering. And, the thing about it is, you water it every month, like the directions say.
And that's it.
And that's it, it does take a lot of the stress, I think, sometimes off of watering the plant.
It gets rid of pests too, because your fungus gnats can't really lay their eggs on a dry surface.
Yeah,
that's right. And so when I first started my plant journey, my friend Garen, that plant keeper, he was coaching me into bottom watering the plant anyway. Which is kind of like the idea of self-watering is always the water's coming up from the bottom. So, it's one of those things that I got used to doing in the beginning. But my thing is this. I have some plants that are really, really thriving in soil and, with my own personal care and touch. If they like it, I love it. Yeah. I'm not touching them.
Same here. Like, if you're doing well, I'm not going to touch it.
I'm not messing with you. I'm not messing with your substrate. I'm not changing a thing. You are staying right there.
Yeah.
Now, I do believe, Richie, you have a lot of your semi-hydro in self-watering.
Yes, I do. I mean, there is...
Now, that makes sense.
It does, because here's the thing about semi-hydro. You can sit the plant down in the reservoir, but I get nervous about that because it's your roots, at least for the initial portion, they have to kind of convert soil roots into more water roots. And so I feel like number one, leca is pretty, right?
Yeah.
But the top surface of the leca can get a little bit of that white buildup. So when you take the self-watering out, you can flush it. So that's the reason why I use self-watering planters. But I mean, for me, it's really about the easy care that it happens. But the thing about it is, you also have to look at like plant nutrients. And I think some people will follow a trend and not realize, no, you can't necessarily just put water for semi-hydro. There is a mixture of plant nutrients, but I know you use like your fish water. So there's already the natural nutrients, but there is like a pH balance. There's a lot to it.
There really
and so
is.
you can't just jump into a trend. You have to really do your research on it. And that goes back to the point, I'm going to refer back to that blooming anthurium. So blooming anthuriums, those are the ones that are waxy leaf, beautiful. You can see at Walmart.
That's gordita for me.
You know, you can see at Walmart. That's an anthurium, but people forget that is an anthurium.
Yeah.
When you think of anthurium, what do you think of?
You think of
heart-shaped, big,
Clavonariums,
veiny,
dock block, anthuriums, right? And those
veiny,
the velvety textured ones, because I mean, I just feel like that becomes a thing. And why do you think anthuriums? Like, I think that is a very trendy plant right now. People are spending hundreds of dollars for a little seedling or even a seed. Like, I need to know. What are your thoughts? Why?
Well, here's the thing. I think, first of all, I did a deep dive on anthuriums one day.
Okay.
And my mind literally couldn't take it because there's just so many different varieties of the species, of the genus of anthurium. And I think that when you mix and hybridize certain anthuriums to create, I think that it's a beautiful thing. I mean, the list just gets longer and longer at some point. You know, you always have these,
and you have that lineage too.
Exactly, and so I think that the fact that you can manipulate the gene structure of an anthurium sometimes easier than other plants, it just brings this sort of like excitement and allure to that species that kind of like aglaonemas, where every leaf is not going to look the same, and or there's going to be something specific and special about this combination of like this marriage of two different anthuriums. But even like your basic, to me, I hate basic
is great though. Whenever
Clarinarium, that's a beautiful plant. I have one that's in self-watering.
But it's becoming like, even the Clavonarium is becoming less and less popular because there are more anthuriums and whatnot. So I mean, I find anthuriums beautiful. I'm surprised that the trend bug hasn't like hit me on some of these anthuriums, because
you're still stuck on aglaonema.
I am, and there's a blind item about that one too. But I'm just saying, like, anthuriums is everywhere. It's everywhere, and even us going to different types of plant shows, Texas Aerojoy, PlantCon, like, people were flocking for anthuriums. So like, we were gonna ask the cultivators or anybody that has discovered our YouTube channel and podcast, what is it about anthuriums? Like, please leave that in the comments. We really want that open dialogue, because I'm confused a little bit. Not to say it, I'm not trying to throw shade at anthuriums. I think it's gorgeous, because I'm pretty sure everybody's looking at me like, Richie, all you talk about is aglaonema. It's a bunch of bright colored plants that take forever to grow. But I am trying to understand anthuriums.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of get it. I
get it. It's
they're pretty leaves. And the thing with me and anthuriums, I mean, you gotta have the right care for them too. Like, that's another thing, like, because if you're gonna have humidity, then
it's not a plant that anybody can just take. You have to have like cabinets or humidity or light or even substrate. Like, I'm not comfortable growing an anthurium in soil. I have to default back to lechuza pond or like leca.
I think that's when you graduate to a level of knowing what you're doing, especially if you have like a great solid group of anthuriums that you take care of. Like, you've almost arrived to ultimate plant care to me, because they're just so difficult sometimes to take care of because of all of those sort of environmental conditions that just need to be perfect in order for them to thrive.
Or I would say even out of pure luck, and I only say that because I'm looking at my anthurium veitchii.
Veitchii.
Oh, she's looking pretty.
How? I mean,
that one's from tropicals
Yeah.
from Ecuador, and it was like I think 3 leaves, like small leaves, but
Yeah.
she's like
She's growing.
She's
It w-
so
and she's
pretty.
what, in Leca or?
yeah, she's like a pond.
I'm about to give you
Uh-huh.
mine.
How is
because
yours doing?
Horrible.
Oh, I'll rehab it.
Absolutely.
We always have a friend that takes those rehab plans.
Okay.
I got
Listen.
my friend Isaac. That's another episode,
I
right?
got-
Your friends and the hypers.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
got 2 Dracaenas in the backseat of my car waiting for Ruth.
Oh
So-
yes, perfect. She's coming today too.
Perfect.
Yeah.
She
Oh,
can
is
have
Ruthie?
Hey Ruth.
What's
Hi,
up, Ruth?
Ruth.
I got
She
a
better
gift
go to
for
that premiere.
I know
Or
she
she
needs
is.
to.
We're gonna say she made it to
Skip
the
work.
premiere.
Oh,
She
yeah.
made it to the premiere.
She made it to the premiere.
She made
Love
it
you, Ruth.
because that's the
You're
first
amazing.
episode. Yeah, the veggia is really pretty.
It is.
But then there's a level too. So we're talking about anthuriums, the velvety textures.
Yeah.
How about the variegated versions that are coming out now? Those are going to cost you a pretty penny.
I'll get those in like 10 years when it's cheap.
Yes.
But no, to me they're gorgeous. But I just have my veggie, and then I was gifted 2 others, but like I don't think I, as of now, will personally go out unless it's a good deal.
Yeah.
If the price is
As
right.
of now, I'd rather have aglaonema over most.
Yeah.
Because
So-
I just truly do.
So
would
we,
prefer that.
like the trends for plants. So we want to talk about like variegated plants, certain species of plants like anthuriums, for instance. I would even throw in like the variegated monsteras or the
Mhm.
monstera Thai constellation mutations. They got some green snow
There's
monstera.
a Bulbasaur.
Bulbasaur. There's like white
That
mon.
looks
There's a
pretty.
lot, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot, and then we also think. But I want to default back to trends. It's just the human nature. If it's sought after and somebody is talking about it, whether
Mhm.
it's word of mouth,
Telling you.
now
Yeah.
it's gonna be trendy.
It's like a
gonna
Tom
be trendy.
Brown outfit.
It really
That's
is. Tom
true.
Brown. I can't
Yeah.
do Tom Brown. I mean, it was cute, but I'm not gonna spend a lot of money for it. You
But
know.
that's the idea. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Tom Brown
So
is
do you
trendy.
think it is? It's the price point that somebody throws. Like, say if you, and I will use myself as an example. We'll talk about aglaonema in a second, right? But like Spirit DeSanti, Philodendron Spirit DeSanti, you've heard of it. It's just a green philodendron.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
narrow leaf or
Yeah.
whatever. But people were paying like $30,000 for
Yeah.
it.
Is that long leaf?
Yes,
philodendron?
and that one was even stolen at a botanical. You know, you got
That's a
people
wish list.
literally, just putting their integrity on the
Mhm.
line to steal a plant, a green plant of that.
Yeah.
That's the surprising thing is it's not even a variegated plant, but it was like $30,000, all of that. I mean, let's look at Ficus shivriana.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
that more different variegated plant, like a
Yeah.
one leaf cutting was like $200. Now you can buy it anywhere.
All I gotta say is be patient.
Patience
that's
is
true.
a
Be
virtue.
patient
Mhm.
because.
Patience is a virtue, and I just think trends. Why don't you create your own trend?
Yeah.
Ooh, how about that?
So
Okay.
to go back on this like blind item. So like
Yeah, let's
here's the
get into
thing.
that.
So here's the thing. So I heard there were these like 3.
What you hear, Bridget?
Look, I heard about this. There was these
Uh-oh.
3 content creators.
3?
There were 3 of them. They
Was
were
it
based
us?
out. They were based out in North Dallas or in Dallas.
You trying to put
And
us out there?
they thought they were just
They-
influencers, right? They were just like, you know what, we're gonna create this trend, right? Where we're talking about these plants, and I'm sitting there looking like, okay, really, are you really gonna create a trend? So that was the blind item right there. Like you got 3 people who want to be. One of them is super obnoxious about talking about aglaonemas. He chooses to be like faceless, and I'm like, what is
Who-
going on with who? Are you?
Give
does
us
that?
more. Give us more.
Give you more. So like, and the reason why I think this is a blind item, I mean, I think you can figure it out. I mean, these 3, and then they started this podcast too.
Oh
Did
my
I tell you about this
That's
this
crazy.
plant podcast?
How does it sound? First.
Speaking
all?
of which, we're talking about plant trends.
Yeah.
Plant podcast is becoming a trend too. So like, kudos to everybody who's got a plant podcast. We
For
want to
sure.
just see all of that. That's
love it.
it's great that we're seeing that. But let's go back to these content creators. I'm like, okay, what is this plant they're talking about? One of them is super obnoxious about just pushing this plant.
It's
Let me tell you
aglaonema.
this. It's aglaonema. But let me tell you this. I have to flip this a little bit. Let me tell you this about the aglaonema. After so many like conversations on their content, you got people really buying aglaonemas.
Yeah.
Like I was shooked. I wasn't
Yeah.
even shook. I was shooked. Shooked today. Like I'm just saying like, and it was really a social experiment. Like
Yeah.
when I got to, to talking to this content creator, when I really dissected their content, it's like, let's talk about this plant. Let's talk about the Aglaonema red Siam. Let's talk about the Aglaonema silver bay. You know, you passed by that at a Walmart and didn't think twice about it. But as soon as somebody's posting it on their YouTube videos every day, on Instagram every day, all of a sudden it's becoming more trendy.
Yeah.
So
I'm hoping. So what were you going to say?
Well, let me ask you this question, because we're talking about sort of like the direct correlation between influence in plants and the price of plants. Is this these influencers, or that one particular influencer in the trio, is he responsible, or she, or they, are they responsible for?
No, the pronoun is he, hey.
He, yeah,
he,
okay,
him.
he, hey. Oh, so we're getting real specific now.
Very
You know.
specific.
We can narrow the choices down.
Yes.
Right? Would you see or foresee prices going up for Aglaonema just because of the demand?
Okay, first of all, for the content creators, they're really just people who really love the plant.
Yeah.
So I want to at least take it back a little bit before we answer that. But when you love a plant as much as Aglaonema, we all love Aglaonemas. That
Yeah,
is
for sure.
our plant that is always going to be a need.
Yeah.
You create that trend because, at least for me, it is the passion into the plant. It is not the
Yeah.
monetary value.
Yeah.
It is not because you have to have it. It literally does bring you joy. And I
Yes.
feel like some of that has to be poured into the plant community. I think people are just grabbing plants because it's a trendy plant.
Or is this?
Or it's the money. And so, like, I'll use an example. Do I think that Aglaonema will raise in prices because of a potential trend? Maybe, but that's because they're a little bit more not as accessible for more of the uncommon varieties that you can only get from Thailand, Indonesia, the Philippines, right?
Sure.
And I'll use myself as an example. I am all about the trend when it comes to Aglaonema. Please online search Aglaonema Crown of Siam.
How much is that one?
So when I first saw it about a year ago, it is a $4,000 Aglaonema.
How many
Now-
years ago?
Like a year ago.
Oh.
Okay, and then we went to PlantCon last year a little bit, and we saw a small one for $600. Now, it's Aglaonema are not a trending plant, so people are like, "Well, I'm not going to spend that." But for the one that, like myself, you, and you, okay,
Love
I'm going to
Aglaonema.
out y'all for that. You would really want that plant, and I think there's a little, I had to really reflect on it. Is the Aglaonema Crown of Siam that gorgeous as compared to other Aglaonemas? Probably not. It is a very stunning plant. Please look at it, right? It is just because of the veining and a
it's
lot
gorgeous.
of stuff. But then when you start digging up all these other Aglaonemas, is it really worth $4,000?
Not that much.
It's not that much unless you want to drop some super stickers. Like I said again, super stickers will help fund that plant addiction or
You
that
can have it
trend.
sitting on the
Okay.
table.
Right.
I
But
know,
I'm just
right?
saying, I mean, that is a wish list plan of mine. I'm hoping that I could acquire it at some point, but I know
It's
better
beautiful.
because I know that I am the individual that pushes trends.
Yeah.
Because we create the trends. Like people individually create trends. If you feed into paying that price,
Yeah.
it becomes trendy and it just creates a cycle. Do I want to see growers succeed? Absolutely. But there is a certain level of, we don't want to ostracize people to truly enjoy plants because of the price point.
Yeah.
And we don't want to be snooty and say, oh, well, you don't have a variegated X, Y, and Z, so
Yeah.
your plant collection is not validated or is invalidated.
No,
I
I'm
hate that.
so glad that you said that.
Yeah.
Because,
I feel a certain way about that.
I'm so glad that you said that, because it's I mean, look,
Let me sit on this tea too.
please sip, because you just dropped a jewel of a blind
Okay.
item, first of all right? But, I'm approaching 100 plants in my collection,
Ooh.
right? And I'll probably hit
gotta
that.
help him
I
hit
know,
it.
but look,
We gotta help you hit
that
it.
pink
Oh,
lady
wait,
is
yeah.
96.
Oh,
okay?
awesome. Let me find another one.
That's 96. So this is coming home with me, you guys.
Thank you, Deborah.
Thanks,
Isn't it
Deborah.
gorgeous?
Yeah,
I'm
so
going to hold on to this one.
Thank you, Deborah.
that makes 96. All right.
Awesome.
If I can keep 2 more plants alive, and I'm trying. But anyway, my point is that when I look around my collection, I don't have that many variegated plants, right? I don't have that many rare plants.
Green is beautiful, y'all.
It is.
Yeah.
Green
but
is beautiful.
It really is. It really is. But the thing is that since, the subscriber count is going up and all that stuff, there is this kind of does my
Pull.
collection pull?
Yeah.
Does it? I mean, I hate to use the word compare, but when I'm doing the plant video, it's like, well, are they going to care about this like golden pothos right here? Like, this is a $15 plant.
I
Like,
felt
do
that
they
way
really?
before.
Are people really going to care?
Yeah.
Am I
And
the
so-
crazy one that doesn't care? But I'll get into it.
And I appreciate your viewership,
Mhm.
but when you see, and I hate to put myself out here like this,
Put it out
but
there.
I'm looking at so many likes for these, dark leaf plants that cost $500,
Yeah.
and these variegated plants that cost $1,000, and there's likes and there's comments and all that stuff, and here I am, with my little, yeah, I'm pearls and jade, you know what I'm saying?
That's beautiful though.
Yeah.
And here I am with Myra, okay, in the video or on the picture, and I'm just like, does anybody care? Like Wendy Williams, just clap if you care. Like, is it crickets? And so it does bring me to being slightly self-conscious about the content that I put out, because I'm not trending. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm wearing, not even old couture.
But you are where you are now because of the plants you have.
Yeah, and actually, I would
you.
say to you, Stephen, like we talked about when you and I first met at Plant Keeper, should I do a a YouTube channel? And I said, well, what was my advice? Do it because you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Do it because you want to showcase your personality yourself.
Oh.
And do it. And whether you get 100 likes on a video, the only reason why I would even look at a YouTube video for 100 likes is basically it's the algorithm. But whether somebody likes your video or not, it's not anything that you need to be so like drawn into. I think there's a lot of pressure. Because some people, they do this for a living. Content creation is for a living.
That's what I want to do.
I mean, we're hoping if y'all can get Cultivate, if we can get Cultivation Corner Plant podcast show together, that would be awesome. But I think the root cause of a lot of trends is really because we feel like we have to be included in a community. If we aren't like seeking after a certain plant, then we're not part of the trend. Therefore, we're kind of ostracized, and we're beating to our own drum and dancing to your beat, and like not everybody's comfortable with that. And I think that this show, this open conversation about trending plants, I would hope it would resonate to people that you don't have to always go for that expensive plant.
Yeah.
The price tag is what causes people to want to feel like they have to buy plants.
Yeah.
Because there's plants that are literally in front of you that are easy care, low maintenance, that could be just as trendy. And that's the reason why I have loved to push the Aglaonema. Like, you won't have to get an Aglaonema crown as I am, but they're so pretty. But since somebody is not necessarily talking about it, we don't have any influencers that are really all about that. It's not becoming it. Now, though, the blind item with those three, I don't know about them. Like, I think they're influencers. They're posting videos on YouTube, and I'm like, okay, y'all got a they got a podcast now too. But you know what? I appreciate the fact that these individuals are really pushing the plant that they want. And people find that probably endearing to the point where they want to try growing Aglaonemas. I'm not going to lie. Aglaonemas, you need it.
I hope it gets to that point, though.
That Richie, that was so beautiful. That makes me almost want to cry.
Don't cry.
No, because...
We cried on the first episode.
No, we did. But I think, listen... you guys have been everything to me, and I'm not sure who, this blind item is, but I think I've heard about these people that you're mentioning, and, the connection between the three of them is just really, really sweet, and...
Get some tissue.
You don't need no
we
tissue.
We about to all cry.
No.
But it's really sweet, and... I just wish them all three of them, the best of luck with their podcast if they're just starting it out. And I really hope it explodes. I
hope so too.
The energy is...
Well, beyond your wildest dreams.
What? If you can dream it, you can do it, right? And that's the same thing when it comes to just plants. create your own trend.
Yeah.
Be
Mhm.
happy. Be, satisfied with what you have. Be okay
Yeah.
with showing if you feel like you, and I urge any of the cultivators out there, if you have a plant collection and you feel like you don't want to put it on, say, social media like YouTube, Instagram, do it. Take a leap. Share your story.
Mhm.
Share your story, because you know what? Just because you have a whole island of pothos doesn't mean that your plant collection is not as great as somebody who has imported plants, who has all these variegated plants, and all of that. Social media is always going to be a trend. You need to create your own trend.
Exactly.
Wow.
You
I
need to
love
be
it.
you. There's only one you,
Yeah.
and do what makes you happy and brings you joy.
That's it.
That's what matters, honestly.
It's so simple, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so simple, but it's so complicated.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
easy for us to give that type of advice, but I think we all have our own insecurities. I think even for trying to chase plants, because you've even talked about like people who want to keep up with content creation, you have to feel like you have to buy plants.
Yes.
Just do an update on your
Okay.
plant or
Yeah.
or something of that nature.
Yeah.
I'm gonna forever talk about aglaonemas. It's not something that I'm not gonna continue to talk about. I really think for those that are listening to this podcast or seeing, that is a trend I am going to be very intentional, very passionate about. And we'll see what that social media experiment happens, whether it becomes a trend or not, because somebody had to talk about the plant.
Mhm.
But not only
That's true.
that, Richard, you're genuine about it.
I
You
really love
really
it.
love it.
Yeah.
You know?
Why
So,
not? That aglaonema
They're
versus the
gorgeous.
variegated whatever? No, it
Yeah,
trumps
I mean,
it.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
red siam, red siam is like an ace
yeah.
you throw out there or whatever. I mean, in my eyes, and I
Yeah.
think with how we all look at plants, I really think they say beauty is the eye of the beholder.
Mm-hmm.
Value is what value we're willing to give a certain item.
Yeah.
Create your own values. If you feel like you can't buy that plant because it's a lot of money, hold off on it. I'm telling you, that price is going to go down.
Yeah. For
if,
sure.
If you feel like this aglaonema red or orange sambat is beautiful in your eyes, somebody else is going to resonate with that. And I think
Mhm.
that's how you manipulate and create that plant trend, because you have a lot of and I know I'm going on a tangent, guys, a little bit, but I really have a lot of thoughts about it, because when you think about all these nurseries and stuff, they always say we always have to guess what the trend is. Nurseries, growers out there, why don't you create the trends that you want for the consumers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
I don't know.
Create the trend that you want.
Yeah. That you want to put out there.
Uh-huh.
Because that's a reflection of who you are.
Yeah.
So why
That's
aglaonema? We won't open to
I
that
love that.
discussion.
I know we're gonna have to have just an aglaonema
Episode.
Just
We should.
all aglaonemas.
We should. Season 3.
Mhm.
Season 3.
We got renewed
Yes.
for season 3, you guys. So,
Woo!
you know what I'm saying?
Y'all want to do a quick little want to need to real quick?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So, let's talk about plant trends, okay? Let's see if a plant trend is a want or a need.
Okay.
Okay, so what did we talk about today? So, we talked about variegated plants.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm going to pick a variegated plant for you guys.
Okay.
It's a plant that I want, but is this a want or a need? A variegated philodendron bilietiae.
It's so pretty.
It really is gorgeous.
But it would be a want for me.
It's a want.
Yeah, that would be a want.
I'm going to PlantCon next week, or let's find out if I actually get it. But for me right now, it's a need.
It's a need for
It's
you?
a need.
Okay.
You don't have one?
I don't have one, but if the price is right, that would be a plant that I would grab right then and there.
Can I get a cutting?
Maybe.
He hesitated on
I had
that.
to.
Steve.
Maybe, because it takes forever for those things to grow.
I know.
That's a good one. What's a need? And you mean we're not going to throw out aglaonemas because
Well,
we
I-
don't see.
No.
No.
But I don't know what a need is. Just kidding.
Okay, so let's talk about an anthurium. Just
Okay.
pick an anthurium. Are anthuriums wants or needs?
For me, it would be want.
Ooh. They've become a need.
Really?
I'm feeding into a little bit of the trends just because I figured out the care for it.
Yeah.
A want would be a variegated anthurium, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
A need would just be a beautiful, I don't know, clavonarium
Yeah.
or I can't even. And
Yeah, I
anthurium
know
pap.
nonains.
We'll just say pap.
Yeah, okay, I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yes,
Yeah.
those are pretty.
Yeah.
For y'all, would you say a neon pothos?
Oh,
Is that a want or a need?
That's a need. Yeah, I want all the varieties of pothos, and you can never have too many.
same. I have a neon queen pothos.
Oh, she pretty.
Gorgeous.
Give me a cut in.
I can because
They just populate very easily.
She has bundles coming down now.
Yeah,
She got the good hair.
Bundles.
Did y'all see Janae's hair too?
Fire!
Thank you,
She's
guys.
giving bangs. She look good.
Okay.
But yeah, neon definite pothos. Period.
Yes, I
That's
think
a
that will
need.
always be a need too for me, because you can display them in so many ways, and it's a compact plant and that it trails, so it doesn't
Yeah.
really take up that much space.
Yeah, just the footprint that it leaves too, because it doesn't
Yeah.
need a big pot.
Mhm.
You know, like a big bushel of pothos
Yeah.
can still be housed in a small pot.
Yeah.
Just make sure that you support it so it doesn't flip over like
Yep.
That's
it
it.
happened with me. See, I keep knocking plants over. I'm a klutz.
Stop it. And they look pretty in your kitchen, on the fireplace,
Yeah.
In
on
a
the
low
wall,
light
on the
area.
shelf.
low light, like literally
In the
anywhere.
shower while you're
Yeah.
showering.
Yeah.
I used to have one. Yeah. All right, that's awesome, guys. This was very fun.
This was fun. I mean, we hit all the bells with this one.
I feel like
Literally.
it. I mean, we can try to ask our viewers to make this trending by sharing this video and
Yeah.
using the hashtag plant trends.
Shoot,
Yes.
make Cultivation Corner trendy.
I was, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hashtag Cultivation Corner. I mean,
Cultivation
seriously.
Corner, exactly. And let us know your plant trends and what you do, what trend you want and have and like and all the things. But yeah. Well, this was fun, guys. I'm Janae from Janae Simone.
I'm Steve from I Live Plants.
And I'm Richie from Growfold, and we are
Cultivation
Corner. Bye.
Bye.
I love it.
That was
was-
good.
And on the season finale, you know,
So you're not a risk taker?
So look, when it comes to that,
You're not open to supporting other businesses? Is that what it is? I'm just being. I'm just being. Because I already got scammed a couple of times. You could have just asked me, and I would have been able to tell you.
Wait, so you got scammed by the same shop?
Oh no
Oh.
no
Okay.
no no.
Here's the thing. So, the good thing though, I think, is the fact that you can tell the story. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
because trust and believe that I would never shop where you.
Yeah.
Oh no, they're not
shop.
getting my
Ever.
business.
Ever.
Absolutely.
They're not getting my business, and that's why I'm like, if you bought Aglionema.